Welcome to the Vogue Me YouTube channel.
The Rolex Daytona has been the Crown's iconic chronograph since 1963, and this year it celebrates its 60th anniversary. The classic Rolex Daytona 126500LN with its steel case and white dial. Bezel. The most noticeable difference between the two models is the addition of a black ceramic Cerachrome bezel. This new and improved fixed bezel is highly scratch-resistant, corrosion-resistant, and resistant to the discoloration effects of UV rays. Compared to the polished stainless steel bezel of the previous model, the black bezel now gives the impression of a larger dial. A few changes have also been made to the bezel design. That said, the font used for the engraved tachymeter scale is bolder and easier to read, and is filled with platinum PVD fill. Another slight difference on the bezel is the use of triangles instead of dots beneath the tachymeter numbers. The tachymeter numbers now rotate around the bezel, rather than being displayed horizontally as on previous models. A lot of thought went into the redesign of the bezel, and it has been well received by Rolex Daytona fans around the world. Case. The 40mm by 12.4mm thick oyster case is made from Rolex's corrosion-resistant superalloy known as 904L steel, which is known to retain its shine longer than standard stainless steel. 904L steel is not necessarily the hardest steel alloy known to man, but it is more durable than other steels and is the perfect material for Rolex. Other manufacturers are not prepared to use this more expensive type of steel and often produce their cases. Rolex has the advantage because they manufacture all of their components in-house. The world's first waterproof case, the Oyster case, has become almost synonymous with the Rolex name. The patented Oyster case is one of the defining features of Rolex and has been around since its inception in 1926. Subdials. Aesthetically, everything remains the same as in the previous model with regard to the silver-rimmed sub-registers on the dial. The lower central subdial at 6 o'clock is a small running second subdial. The sub-registers to the right and left of the subdial at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock are used for the chronograph. Movement. Rolex powers the Daytona watch with its own caliber 4130 self-winding movement, which features a self-resistant blue parachrome hairspring and a stop second for precise time setting. The caliber 4130 is an automatic chronograph movement that uses kinetic energy from the rotor to tighten the mainspring, thereby maintaining its own winding. If you move the hands enough throughout the day, the winding will be maintained. If you don't move it much throughout the day, you can manually tighten the spring using the winding crown. When fully wound, the power reserve should allow the watch to run for around 72 hours, or 66 hours with the chronograph function in operation. Caliber 4130 is also a COSC certified movement, which means it has received the prestigious chronometer designation, which demonstrates reliability and high precision, with a maximum deviation of -4 + 6 seconds per day. Once the Swiss Official Chronometer Testing Institute issues the COSC certificate to a caliber, the caliber essentially receives the chronometer designation and is then sent back to Rolex for further testing. Chronograph. The chronograph function provides an additional function to the watch and is essentially a stopwatch, allowing the driver to measure lap times with an accuracy of up to 1/8 of a second. The mechanical chronograph complication used in the Cosmograph Daytona is designed to have fewer parts than a standard chronograph, making it a more reliable stopwatch. It is a column wheel chronograph with a vertical clutch mechanism that makes the start, stop, and reset movement smoother than the cam mechanism. The large central seconds hand of the chronograph sweeps the dial very smoothly, as Rolex is famous for its perpetual motion. The subdial at 3 o'clock on the right side of the dial is a 30-minute counter, while the 9 o'clock position on the dial is a 12-hour counter. These three hands are smoothly operated via the chronograph pushers, which are buttons above and below the winding crown on the right side of the case. Bracelet and clasp. The Rolex Oyster bracelet is made of 3-piece oyster steel links. The two outer links are brushed, and the central link has a beautiful polished finish. The links at each end of the bracelet are connected to the polished lugs of the case, so that when viewed, the finish alternates from polished to brushed and back to polished on the central link. The Oyster Lock double lock folding clasp is equipped with Rolex's patented EasyLink 5mm expansion links, which allow for quick and precise adjustments of the bracelet size in 5mm increments. Conclusion: the biggest lesson I learned from owning the Rolex Cosmograph Daytona 116500LN watch is that the actual watch scores very highly in almost every way.